Head to your local home improvement store and grab some jumbo paint stir sticks. We're going to make a Pinterest trendy craft. Okay, so you're going to start out with these 21-inch ruler sticks. Mine came in a 3-pack, and you're going to need 8 of them, so just shy of 3 packs. And then you're going to lay them out in kind of like a picket fence formation. So 5 vertical, staggered, the middle one being highest, the outer ones being lowest, 2 across, and then 1 kind of at a diagonal. So you're going to kind of lay everything out first and then grab a pair of miter shears. So these are just like fancy scissors that let me cut at an angle. And so since these are jumbo paint sticks, they're a lot thicker than like normal craft sticks or paint sticks that I craft with. So I started with the most difficult cut first, and that was the 45-degree angle crossbar. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of score it from both directions. And because the miter shears are adjustable, I can cut a perfect 45-degree angle, which is really handy. So I'll just kind of cut, make a score on one side, a score on the other side, and then I have like a nice divot to work with. And then I'll go back and forth making cuts back and forth on each side until I eventually cut through the paint stick. And then repeat the same process on the other end until I have 45-degree angle cuts cut on both ends. So now that like the difficult part is over, then I can just readjust my miter shears to 90 degrees because the rest of the cuts are just going to be square cuts at 90 degrees. And so I just kind of laid out my paint sticks and I measured the cross pieces, the 2 horizontal pieces, and I cut those down to length, easy peasy. Use the same method of scoring from both sides and then going back and forth until I got the exact cut that I needed. Now, if you want to use like power tools, no pun intended, more power to you, but I just like, my basement's dark and like dusty and I'm not gonna like film down there, and despite like all of the DIY projects that I've done, my power tools still kind of terrify me. So I'm more comfortable with the miter shears, even though it's more elbow grease up front. Okay, and then the way I staggered my little pieces, my vertical pieces, I only cut the 2 end pieces. And this was intentional because I just didn't want to have to cut more pieces than I needed to. And so that bottom bar will kind of cover up the difference in height between the 3 middle pieces. And so once I had everything kind of like dry fit and cut so that I knew everything would assemble correctly, I then stained all of the wood pieces. So I just used decor gel stain in the color oak and a 1-inch paintbrush, and I just applied a very thin like dry brush technique. So it wasn't even full coverage. I just made sure to get like all the edges, all the skinny little edges. So it was a little bit time consuming. And then the front panel as well. I left some unfinished wood poking through. This is all a matter of personal preference. Do whatever makes you happy. And then once that gel stain had dried, I used a combination of Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint in the colors White Adirondack and Sage Shadow. Sage Shadow is just like a nice mossy green color, very similar to the ever popular Waverly chalk paint in the color Moss. But you could just use plain white. I just wanted to add a little bit of green for something different. And then once again, a very dry brush technique. So just dab a little bit of paint and you can like dab off excess on a piece of paper or a piece of scrap cardboard, and then brush back and forth, kind of filling in some gaps, maybe where the gel stain hadn't covered. And the whole point is just to kind of make it look weathered and distressed. So you can add as much paint or as little paint as you like, or you could just do plain stain and no paint at all. And then once everything had dried, I came back with my favorite combo of wood glue and hot glue. So the wood glue gives a long-term permanent hold. The hot glue just kind of holds everything in place in the short term so that things don't fall apart while I'm waiting for the wood glue to dry. Totally optional. If you just wanted to do wood glue and then leave it sit in place to dry, that's totally fine as well. But I just glued everything together. And then I flipped it over and I added a hanger. So this way it could be used as a door hanger. I just doubled up some dollar store twine. So just fold a long piece of twine in half, knot it on both ends, and then hot glue those two knots right to the back of this little picket fence thing. And I'm finally getting smart and remembering to use my silicone finger protector so I don't lose all of my fingerprints when I craft with hot glue. And then I wanted to use this kind of like as a display hanger for wreaths. So I added a little command hook right to the center. And then from there, I can add a little wreath, which I can change out with like seasonal wreaths. There is a twine hanger on this, so it could be used as a door hanger, but I just propped this up behind our piano, on the top of our piano in our living room. Now leave a comment below if you have strong opinions. I hate the finish of our piano lamp, but it's absolutely necessary because my kiddos take piano lessons. So leave a comment below if you have any tips or ideas for painting this piano lamp because I think it desperately needs a new look. But here's my little finished picket fence wreath display. I do hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Until next time, happy making.